G'day everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 best AFL players to never win an AFL flag. The list I have today showcases some of the greatest AFL and most influential AFL players of the modern era, but also containing a downside, with never ever having the feeling or sensation to lift an AFL Premiership Cup. If you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, that'll be much appreciated, and let's get into the video. So before we get into the top 10 fellas, I think there is such a huge amount or a lot of players that can qualify for this video. So I've also decided to include a couple of honourable mentions. I'll quickly go over them now in no particular order. First off, Nathan Jones. One of the greatest Melbourne Demons players of the 21st century, playing for almost 15 years, with also having over 300 games under his belt. Unfortunately, he did retire during the 2021 season, the year that the Demons won the flag, but since he retired before the Demons actually were in the grand final, he qualifies for this video, unfortunately. Then we have David Mundy, and yes, I have one or two players that are still currently playing the game. I know it's a bit unfair on them, but they still deserve to be in this video. Anyway, David Mundy, one of the most underrated players for Fremantle and also in the AFL. Still actively playing at 36 and playing since 2004. He's part of the 350 club and also an All-Australian. Being the Dockers captain since 2016, Mundy is one of those more underrated players in our video today. Then we have Lenny Hayes, a very unlucky player to never win a flag indeed. He was in fact a Norm Smith medalist in the 2010 grand final draw and was a 3 times All-Australian and St Kilda captain for 2 years. Next up, Nat Fyfe. Very close to putting him into the top 10, but I just felt like the top 10 list I do have, the players are more deserving, slightly more than Nat Fyfe, but hey, still a freakish player Fyfe is. 2 Brownlow medals, 2 Lee Matthews trophies, 3 All-Australian appearances, has been a one club man with the Freo Dockers for over a decade now, has been their skipper since 2017, but unfortunately, does he have a premiership? No dice. Then finally, we've got Jim Stynes. Truly one of the most inspirational and influential footballers in history. He was not only a Brownlow medalist, but was also a player who paved the way for Irishmen to play AFL football. Rightio, now we move on to the top 10 list, and we're going to start off, of course, at 10th. And at 10th, we have got Brad Johnson. Johnson would have to go down as one of the greatest ever players to play for the Western Bulldogs. Playing as either a damaging forward or midfielder, he would play for the Doggies for his whole career, becoming a player with playing one of the most highest amount of games to never win a flag. With all the successes, Brad Johnson is truly a player that's very unlucky to not even make a grand final, with losing 5 prelim finals. Even with all those nasty finals defeats, it never stopped him from smiling day and night. Moving on to 9th now in our list today, and I've gone for Paul Kelly. Known as Captain Courageous by Swans fans, he truly was one of the most influential players for the Bloods. With his small frame of 179cm and 83 kegs, it didn't stop him from being a true hard nut and inspirational footballer for the Swans for over a decade. With winning the Brownlow medal in 1995 and making 3 All-Australians, the closest he would ever get to a grand final would be 1996, when they'd go on to lose against North Melbourne. With his retirement in the end of 2002, there was a somewhat feel-good story, as 3 years later the Swans managed to win the flag and he was part of the celebrations. Playing 234 games and kicking 200 goals for the Swans, he's an icon not only for the Swans in the AFL, but also for New South Wales football. Coming in at 8th place now on our list today, and I've gone for Matty Richardson. The man from Tasmania would play for the Tigers for his whole career and become one of the most, underrated players in the 90s and 2000s. Why, you ask? Because he played for, well, I guess you could say, a not a great Richmond side. Throughout his 17 years with the Yellow and Black, he would only ever see finals once in 2001, where they'd go all the way to the prelim final to lose on to eventual premiers, the Brisbane Lions. A player that would witness not many finals appearances, but many bottom 4 finishes. It didn't stop him from being a fantastic football player, with many individual honours for the AFL and of course Richmond, being part of the Richmond team of the century and also being the Tigers' leading goal kicker for 13 seasons. Similar to Paul Kelly just before, Matty Richardson would also witness the Tigers lift the cup in 2017, and of course he'd be part of the celebrations as well. For 7th now on our top 10 best AFL players to never win a flag, and we have gone for Matthew Pavlich from the Fremantle Dockers. Pavlich would have to be up there for one of the most underrated AFL footballers and also one of the most loyal. Being a one-club man for the Dockers for 17 years, and he was on and off the field a very hard-working, humble and inspirational leader. An 8-time Fremantle leading goal kicker, Pavlich is up there for one of the greatest ever Fremantle players. He's been through the ups and downs as a Fremantle player. Pavlich would sure have an illustrious football career with 700 goals to his name. But AFL fans all across the country have a lot of sympathy for him. Even though he is a humble, hard-working player, he never ever won an AFL flag, being very close in 2013 and 2006. Next up on our list today at 6th place, and we are going for a current AFL footballer, and it is Patrick Dangerfield. Being part of the Adelaide Crows and the Geelong Cats for many years, he is by far one of the best AFL players of the 21st century. Taking home Charlie in 2016 and also having 8 All-Australian appearances, he just is yet to find that magical AFL Cup. He's a champion of the home and away season, but he just can't seem to carry it over into finals. He's been a part of 6 prelim final losses and also a grand final loss. At 31 years of age, the time seems to be ticking for him, being a part of an ageing Geelong side. So let's hope the Danger Man can taste Premiership glory, as he is also closing in on 300 AFL games. Now moving on into number 5 on our video today, and I have chosen 𝐼𝐗𝐞 𝐎𝐥𝐿 from the St Kilda Saints. There's a number of Saints players in this video today, that is safe to say. As one of the most influential forwards of the 21st century, he would play for the Saints for 17 years, with 336 games and 718 goals. Captaining the side for 11 years, 𝐼𝐿 would definitely witness the ups and downs of the St Kilda Saints, being part of the back-to-back prelim final losses in 2004 and 2005, and of course being part of the very, very unlucky 2010 Saints. There might be no flag next to his name, but that certainly doesn't leave him out of the record books, as he currently holds the all-time record for the most marks in AFL/VFL history. In number 4 for our video today, we have gone for Nathan Buckley. A lot of fans do forget that he's actually not a one-club man, even though it feels like he is, being part of Port Adelaide and the Brisbane Bears before he'd make his move to Collingwood, as he'd play there for 14 seasons. He's a player that just seemed to win everything an AFL player could have asked for, minus an AFL flag, with winning the Brownlow Medal in 2003, the Norm Smith Medal, the AFL-CA Champion Player of the Year, and 7 All-Australian appearances. Not to mention his Collingwood honours, being part of the Hall of Fame, the Team of the Century, and a life member. Captaining the side from 1999 right up to his retirement year of 2007, he was definitely in the thick of it during Collingwood's oh-so-close years. Back-to-back grand final losses in 2002 and 03 was surely enough to make a grown man cry. A bit of a consolation with winning the Norm Smith in the 02 grand final. Again, a player that just seemed to win everything possible, but he just couldn't win an AFL flag. Might I quickly add from a personal point of view, he had one of the best kicks in AFL history. Moving on to number 3 now for the best AFL players to never win a flag, and I've gone for Robert Harvey. He surely had to be high up in the list today, as he holds the record for the most AFL/VFL games without an AFL Premiership. Playing for the St Kilda Football Club for 21 years, he would undoubtedly be one of the most respected and underrated footballers in AFL/VFL history. Throughout his career, he'd go on to lose 4 prelim finals and a grand final, with sadly his last ever AFL game being in a prelim final loss against the Hawks in 2008. It's pretty much criminal to see a player by his standards never ever lift an AFL Cup. At number 2 now on the best AFL players to never win an AFL flag, we have gone for Tony Lockett, arguably pretty much the greatest AFL forward. Even though he's the only ever full forward to win the Brownlow Medal, and he also has his name engraved in the roof of Etihad Stadium, he'd still never ever won an AFL Premiership. With having 6 100-goal seasons, and being the record holder for the most individual AFL/VFL goals in a career with over 1,300. It's pretty much almost unfair to see a player like that never ever win a flag. The closest he ever came to Premiership glory was in the 1996 Grand Final. With a 6-goal performance against North, it just wasn't enough. And apart from that, there just seems to be no justice for him. The most goals in AFL/VFL history cannot gift you an AFL Cup, it seems. And now for number 1 on our list today for the top 10 best AFL players to never win a flag. And we have gone for, of course, the GOAT of AFL/VFL football, Gary Ablett Sr. We of course all know how much of a fantastic player he was. With a list of many awards as far as the eye can see, apart from a Brownlow medal and an AFL Premiership, he was still never in doubt one of the greatest footballers in history. A player that would week in, week out, dazzle his opponents with spectacular marks, beautiful silky smooth ball skills, and cracking goals. It still scratches our heads how this man never won an AFL flag. It's hard to think of any other footballer that deserves an AFL flag more than Gary Ablett. In his maiden grand final in 1989, he'd kick 9 goals and win a Norm Smith medal, but they would fall short to a 6-point margin defeat against Hawthorn. With then adding on 3 additional grand final losses in 4 years, it just shows that sometimes the goats of our game are unable to achieve footy's greatest prize. His legacy would never fail, however, as his son, Gary Ablett Jr., would go on to win 2 flags for the Catters in 07 and 09. So everyone, there is my list for the top 10 best AFL players to never win an AFL flag. As said earlier in the video, there is of course many more AFL footballers who are truly deserving of an AFL Premiership. So make sure to comment below who would have you added into the list today. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. And I'll talk to you later, fellas. See you later.